Hello and welcome back to the Done Deal YouTube channel, and today you join us in Madrid, which is the home of the C4 and also the home of the new C4X. Now you might be thinking Citroën, that's French car, but actually they're built here in Madrid in a little factory, and when I say little I actually mean quite gigantic. And this is Citroën's all new offering, and it is basically the C4, and in fact the platform it's built on is all the same. However, the shell, the body, the styling is a little bit different. We'll be discussing that in today's review. But a very interesting thing about this car is it is the ë-C4X. And in Ireland and the UK, we're only going to be getting the fully electric one. My name is David ë-C. This is the Done Deal YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe and let's get into the review. So from the front, it actually looks very similar to any other C4 or ë-C4. In fact, there's nothing that really suggests it's actually a fully electric car. And very interestingly, on the production line, they're on the same line as the petrol and the diesel. So it's virtually identical. Now here you'll see you've got the LEDs there, the normal lights, nice alloy wheels, and it's actually when you go and see the rear quarter that you'll notice there is a little bit of a change. Back here, I'm getting massive Renault Arcana or maybe even Polestar vibes. You'll notice this is the fastback rear, and it's very aerodynamic, and actually the whole car is extremely aerodynamic. Everything down to at the front, you'll see there's some little mud guards there, and then this little lip at the rear. I kind of like the rear. It is busy with badges, I will say, but the boot opens nice and easily, and actually there's plenty of space in there. Because this isn't a full review, I'll just quickly run through it. In the boot there's 510 litres, which is loads of space. It's a nice square shape, easy to fold down the seats. And yeah, as a whole, the little diffuser back here is quite nice. Obviously no exhaust because it's a fully electric car, but the petrol and diesel ones, which we don't actually care about in Ireland because we're not getting, but they do have a nice little twin exit exhaust. Powertrains, because it comes to Ireland in only electric, that's all we're going to be talking about today. But actually quickly, before I open it, what do you think of the new Citroën logo? I quite like it. It's a little bit more simplistic, a little bit easier to look at. But in here under the bonnet, this looks like a regular petrol or diesel engine, and that's really unusual. Yesterday I went to the factory. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show you the footage from there, or I wasn't able to take any footage. However, it actually is the same size as a diesel block or a petrol block, and in here it really does look like it. You just have your usual things like your windscreen washer fluid. You don't actually go in here. But what is this motor? Well, it's a 100 kilowatt motor, and it's powered by a 50 kilowatt hour battery. Range is 370 kilometers. Today, when we collected the car, we had at 97%, we had about 315 kilometers. It's winter, it's quite cold here in Madrid actually. It's about 7 degrees. They really don't tell you Spain gets cold, but it does. Then that's about everything you need to know. It can charge at 100 kilowatts, so pretty quick charger if you can find the chargers. In Ireland it's basically Ionity is probably the only place you'll get that, and a few other ones dotted around the country. Another big thing to talk about is the battery life cycle, how long it's going to last for, the warranties, because I know that's really important. So it's up to 160,000 kilometers or also 8-year warranty, so really won't have to worry about that, particularly because I'm guessing a lot of people who are buying new cars, for the vast majority of people, upgrade every 2 or 3 years. So that's everything you need to know about the powertrain. So I think the next thing is to go for a drive. So the inside of the ë-C4X, if you've been in any modern Citroën in the last couple of years, it's very, very similar. And if you haven't, to quickly run you through it, you've got your steering wheel in front of you, your pedals down below you, and your gear selector on the right hand side, or in Ireland on the opposite side. But jokes aside, you've got a brilliant 10-inch infotainment system up here, quite easy to use. The maps itself actually has this really cool 3D effects of buildings pop up out of the ground. But if you're not using the maps, it still has mirrorless projection. So Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it works absolutely flawlessly, and that is what you really use in the real world. Actually, one thing I will say is yesterday in the press conference, they referenced the interior being like a lounge, and in many ways I do agree. So first of all, the seat is very comfortable. They've added 15 millimeters of extra cushioning in it, and it is really smooth. That combined with the suspension, which we'll talk about in a short moment, makes it very comfortable to sit in. It's also extremely quiet, particularly in this electric version. There's virtually no road noise actually. Now, once you get it out on the road, first thing everyone wants to know, electric car, is it fast? If I put my foot down, it picks up, but it's not blow your mind fast. I think when electric cars first came to the world, they were always really, really quick and surprisingly, but now I think car companies have made the power a little bit more linear, and it also makes it maximize its range and kind of a little bit less torquey. In terms of handling, very smooth. I mean, it's not going to be a race car, but it's very easy to drive. And I think the suspension is definitely, like in a lot of Citroens, the standout feature. It's very, very smooth. Earlier on, I was in the car with Bob Flavin, and he approached the speed bump a little bit too quickly for comfort, but there's hydraulic cushioning suspension in this, and basically it uses air to kind of help absorb it alongside the shock and the spring, and it's very good, to be fair. Citroen have for many years been known for their suspension, and they do pride themselves in it. Even now, those are some quite aggressive speed control bumps, and we just seem to kind of waft over them. In terms of driving aids, that's all the rage now. You have to have adaptive cruise control, lane assist, and it does have it all. The lane assist is okay on a straight line. If you go around some of the sharp corners that the Spanish have on their motorways, it definitely does seem to play up a little bit. The adaptive cruise is very good. Even in stop still or stop stand traffic, it'll slow right down to a halt, which is good, although you do have to give it a bit of a nudge to pull off. I think there's over 20 driving aids in it, so plenty of little features, cameras all around, parking sensors. All these things nowadays come as standard, but I suspect, now I haven't been told, in Ireland I'm guessing there'll be 2 or 3 different specs. Flare, C edition maybe, I'm not exactly sure yet. We're waiting on confirmation for that. There is a really good digital display up ahead of me. It gives me all the key information, my speed limit, my cruise control, and actually what speed I'm going. So very, very handy. Another thing about the infotainment system, which is very clever if you're new to the electric car world, is you can pre-program in your charge stops. So it's actually really, really clever. It has, well, we were told in the press conference every car has a heat pump. Hopefully that'll be the case in Ireland. I'm not 100% sure of that. But what that means is, let's say you're going on a long journey from Cork to Sligo. You can schedule in your charges along the way. The maps will actually do that for you. And then it will prime the battery so that when you arrive, you can kind of charge at an optimum pace. So very, very clever. And as I said earlier, it charges at 100 kilowatts if you can get the charger. So it is quick. And yeah, I think that's just about everything that I can kind of tell you for my first hour or two in the car. So we'll pull in now and finish off the video. So there you have it, a very quick look at the new ë-C4X, which will be coming to Ireland hopefully in the second quarter of 2023. So actually quite soon we will see them on Irish roads. Visually, I think it looks very, very good. I actually really like the front, which is very similar to the normal C4. A couple of things I do want to talk about is yesterday in the press conference, they told us some nice little facts about Citroën, the way the brand's going. And yeah, there's a lot of marketing kind of gargle there, but a couple of things I did really like is there's a lot of recycled materials. So for example, in the metal, I think there's 100 kilograms of recycled metal. There's recycled plastic. The way they power the plant is actually, I think at the moment, 30% by solar power, but over the next couple of years they plan to have it as a standalone. They're creating all their power on site, which is very, very impressive. And the last thing that they're going to do is they're going to actually sell recycled parts. So down the line, if something in your suspension breaks, and I'm talking after warranty, way down the line, you'll actually be able to buy a recycled part from Citroën, which I just think is kind of very forward thinking and quite clever. In terms of prices, now this is a big one. How much does it cost? Well, Citroën Ireland won't even give me an estimate. So I've done a little bit of mathematics myself, and my theory is the ë-C4 costs roughly 40,000 euros. So this will probably be a few more thousand. So I'd say early to mid 40s to get you into a nice ë-C4X. Anyway, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, then please make sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and comment what cars you'd like to see us bring to the channel soon. But for now, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.